It's a great pleasure having this initial conversation. I'll be with you, as I mentioned, as your master of ceremony for the rest of the day. So let's take this conversation forward. I don't want you to listen to me all the day. So let me invite our first speaker, who is going to give us the welcome speech on behalf of PSTD. So I'm honored to invite Mr. Ali Shirazi, the board member, PSTD. He's also the CEO of Atlas Battery. May I request Mr. Ali Shirazi to join us on the stage with your round of applause. Thank you very much, Ali. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Okay. So you're going to hate me, but I'm going to ask you to stand up again, all of you. Please stand up. So you were not informed, but today you're going to do a lot of exercise, okay? I want everyone to clap for our Master of Ceremonies, Samad. What a wonderful, inspiring story. So I think that in itself should keep everyone energized and motivated and resilient and redefine and all those wonderful words we're going to learn about today. Now you can sit down. So, you know, when I was asked to be the opening batsman today, and I've had the privilege of doing this, before as well. But you know, this is a blessing on one count, because I know for a fact that you've been made to stand up twice, so you are still all awake, right? Who is awake? Okay. So that's the good news. Now, the bad news is, as the opening speaker, that over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to bore you so much that you will all fall asleep. So the next set of speakers will have the misfortune of trying to wake you up again. Right, Hassan? So good luck to the rest of the speakers. But I'm going to try and do my best to keep you engaged and energized. So first and foremost, welcome to CONNEX, Redefine. And, it's a real privilege on behalf of PSTD and PSHRM. I think this is the 13th edition or the 14th edition. Us pe bhi koi controversy at 13th or 14th because we had COVID in the middle. But nonetheless, we welcome you all. Thank you for being here. And lots of appreciation and gratitude for all the wonderful sponsors and the speakers and participants, of course. Thank you for being here. Whilst we are talking about future of work, innovation, technology, I want to sort of try and give you a little bit of a history lesson, because it is really, really important to know what made PSTD what PSTD is. So, it was founded in 1966 by a visionary. His name was Mia Ghani. I had the privilege and honor to have met him and asked him, what made you, and we were having this discussion earlier about visionaries and captains of industry like Sayyid Babar Ali, and Mia Ghani in his own way was no less. I asked him once that, what made you think that PSTD should come into being? What was your ethos? What was your motivation? And now think about Pakistan in 1966. And he said, in 1966, Pakistan was only 19 years old. It was full of opportunity, full of energy, full of hope, and we were in the midst of an industrial bonanza. Industries were coming up right, left, and center. Professionals, business owners, managers were helping this country achieve an industrial revolution of its own kind. So much so that in the 60s, a delegation from South Korea came to Pakistan to ask our economic managers, how have you gone about your industrial revolution? And it was nothing less than an industrial revolution. When Pakistan was formed, there was nothing here. Everything went to India. So Mia Ghani's vision was that not only did the country need an industrial base, but it needed human capital. And it is at that time that young professionals benefited what the society offered, which was a leading professional body for training, development, best practices of governance, management skills, and whatnot. Today, the PSTD, the ethos remains the same. Our legacy is a proud one. The ethos remains exactly the same. But we have made a pivot, and I think a rightful pivot. And we had this discussion at the board level about a year ago where, Adil felt and the management felt that we needed to change our mission. We needed to renew ourselves, reignite ourselves. And we had a big debate as to what our ethos or motto ought to be, our mission. And we came up with this: bridging global knowledge. And I remember this board meeting. In fact, we even had a strategy session on a Saturday where there was a lot of debate. Ye kya baat hogi, bridging global knowledge. आप कराची में बैठे हैं, लाहौर तक तो पहुंच नहीं पाए, तो आप ग्लोबल की बातें कर रहे हैं. And we had this very healthy debate about what PSTD ought to become. And we, of course, implemented this motto and this mission. And today, I think we see it in action. How? You are going to have the privilege of having internationally recognized speakers come up on stage in Karachi, Pakistan, and share with you their insights about what future of work, what AI, what automation, what technology means in this day and age. Not only that, it's relatively easy to bring speakers. But PSTD has also partnered up with INSEAD and LSE to ensure that our trainings and offerings are best in class so that our professionals, much like how Mia Ghani wanted, continue to benefit from leading voices to show us what is required in this day and age for governance, for management practices, etc. So I am, for one, glad that bridging global knowledge is our motto, because I think we're seeing it in action. CONNEX, what is CONNEX about? So, this is a platform that unites not only HR professionals. It has become a lot more than that. It is about business owners, business managers, IT experts, all get connected. Probably the only time they get connected in one room. I don't know if they probably work in silos in their business places, but at least for one day you're all together, okay? And it became at the outset, very much just a conversation, but today CONNEX has become a movement. People talk about it, not only on the day of a conference, but outside of the conference as well. It has really taken its own shape and energy over time. So what does it try to do? It's trying to shape strategy, drive innovation, redefine how organizations really ought to work. Today, specifically, it's all about CONNEX redefined. What does that mean? I think the focus is on the future of work and how in the age of AI and automation, how can we pivot and ensure that our talent and our organization designs and our leaderships are interlinked with this phenomena of AI and automation. So you're really thinking about revisiting the old playbooks and trying to merge technology with talent. I want to spend a few minutes just talking about what, at least to my mind or the organization that I represent, Atlas, what all of this means. So I have a thesis statement. You may disagree with it, okay? This is the thesis statement. The future of work is actually not about technology versus tradition. It is not. It is really about integrating the two intelligently. How can they coexist and help each other redefine? So innovation has to stand, and I go back to history and timeless principles that keep organizations ethical, grounded, principled, and human-centered, despite the fact that technology will play an outsized role in organizations. So that is the thesis statement that one is presenting to you. But of course, why does innovation matter? Well, innovation matters, and we are seeing this in our daily lives, that AI, automation, digital tools, they're all helping us become more efficient workers, more accurate workers, make smarter decisions through data-driven decisions. Surely, future careers, therefore, will demand adaptability and digital fluency. So clearly, innovation is going to do all of this. But at the same time, best practices will still matter. They will always remain relevant. Again, strong values, discipline, trust, consistency, all these things are going to be as important, if not more so, in the future. Human judgment, communication and teamwork will always remain irreplaceable with or without technology. So essentially what we think is going to help organizations, or the better organizations, thrive during this technological revolution is a marriage, a happy marriage between innovation and best practices. Whilst technology will amplify your data and decision-making prowess, you will always need fairness, security, privacy, and responsibility in the future of work. And indeed, it will be the balanced organizations that will innovate faster, because they will have clarity and they will have shared purpose. You know, recently, this whole phenomena of AI got a reality check. And I'm sure it will probably be contradicted, and in fact, I think it has been very recently. But I found it really, really interesting. MIT, of all places, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, came out with a study where it says that 95% of all AI initiatives have showed no measurable return on investment. So too many companies have plowed themselves into AI without thought, without discipline, without purpose. And the core issue is not that there is something wrong with AI. Far from it. The problem is that too many organizations have plowed into AI without having a balanced organization. The core issue has been that human and organizational integration has been missing with AI development. And therefore, I think successful organizations will be the ones that have that strategic implementation and human alignment along with AI. I'm almost done. Stay with me. So human element and human role in the future of work. You know, I drop my sons to school every morning. whenever I'm in town. And my older son is now getting to the age where he cares about doing well, which is good, right? So he goes to school and he tells me, today I have this test and today I got this mark and this and that. And I found over time that he is becoming more and more obsessive about academics. And I've spoken to my wife about this, that I think this is becoming almost unhealthy. He is getting obsessive about things that matter, but it is going to the extent where he is going to enter a rat race of trying to have a very high IQ. What is an IQ? Intellectual quotient. And I've started telling him, I don't think you'll get very far with a high IQ. You'll do well, but you won't get very far. Because I have met many, many business owners and leaders who have a high IQ and managers, but I would never trust them with my money, with my strategy planning, with them managing my team. Why? The reason is because there are two other quotients that are largely missing in the more successful managers and professionals. That is an adaptive quotient and an emotional quotient. So what do I tell my son in the morning? I want you to focus on your emotional quotient and your adaptive quotient. And he goes, what the hell is that? I said, what to say, when to say, how to say, be it with your parents, be it with your elders, be it with your friends. It matters. It matters a lot. And the adaptive quotient is about your survival skill. आज मेरे साथ ये हो गया, आज मेरे साथ ये हो गया, उसने मेरे साथ लड़ाई की. How did you react? How did you respond? Did you adapt to the situation, or did you just fight back? So, how is all of this important in the age of technology and AI? The adaptive quotient is really the survival skill, because the future will require high AQ professionals to learn fast, unlearn fast, and adapt quickly to changing situations and circumstances. So adaptive quotient enabled organizations will be better fitted, better suited, better skilled to absorb disruption and innovation. And that is probably what the MIT study was talking about. It's no good just having a bunch of programmers and IT guys with very high IQs just plumbing your organization with AI when you don't have a strong adaptive quotient within your management. Similarly, the emotional quotient is very important. So the leading business schools now talk about this all the time. This is the human advantage that technology can never, ever replace. Because AI, machine learning, whichever technology you want to talk about, lacks empathy. It lacks ethics. It lacks motivation. It has no leadership qualities. The emotional quotient is really about the set of managers who believe in teamwork, who can motivate, who can communicate, who can help with conflict resolution, who can preserve trust, a culture, and morality in the workplace. So, closing remarks is really going back to the thesis statement I started out with, that, we think in our group that the future belongs to those who unite innovation with timeless human values. And we believe that the next era is not about humans versus AI. It is really about humans and AI. And, if we use technology responsibly, sensibly, intelligently, then ultimately we want a better, more humane, and a fairer society, a more humane, fairer, prosperous country. And that, I think, has to be what we all want to achieve in whichever scope you work in whichever silo you work in, whichever organization you work in. So, are you still all awake, or are you bored to death? Okay, if you're not, if you're awake, then taliyan yaar. All right. Okay. So I believe there's a video that the team wants to share with you. So I think we're just going to play that.